So our next speaker is Monique Swart. She is an excellent woman. She's the founder at African Business Travel Association in South Africa. Monique began her career in the travel industry 21 years ago. That should be more than 21 years, isn't it? You've done more than 21 years. Okay, over 21 years ago, really, she started the travel industry, her career, and she's also the part of the team that launched the Association of Corporate Travel Executive, which is the ACTA, ATE, in the South African marketplace. Monique is a thought leader and business travel industry expert. She's assisted a lot of companies to understand the realities, trends, and opportunities when sending travelers into Africa and managing an African travel portfolio, which I find really relevant in terms of where we are today. She's also focusing on traveler safety and compliance, supplier management, travel policy implementations, and more. She's done a whole lot over the years, and Monique is also instrumental in the strategic expansion of the association across the region and all the parts of the world, from Middle East to Africa, of course, to West Africa, to Angola, Kenya, Dubai, and many other countries. Please welcome Monique Swart. She's going to be talking to us today about the travel industry, current trends, and the impact on diplomacy and protocol.
Awesome. Patricia, thank you so much for that extremely warm welcome. It is an honor to be here. Thank you for the invite, and a warm welcome to all our distinguished delegates as well. So I will try to save you a bit of time, Patricia.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get straight in there. Okay, so as Patricia said, a very warm welcome. So ABTA was established in 2010. We were originally the African partner for the Association of Corporate Travel Executives. They sadly closed down after 38 years in business because of COVID 2 years ago. We focus predominantly on education and networking within the corporate travel industry. So we don't deal with leisure travel or holiday stuff. We are not a travel agent. We deal specifically with educating and networking, allowing networking opportunities for corporate travel professionals. Our members make up the range of the biggest travel agents and TMCs you can think of: airlines, hotels, car rental companies, etc. And then the travel managers or travel buyers within some of the biggest global corporations that you can think of as well. So basically just looking at what we thought was going to be happening. So a little bit about corporate travel recovery post-COVID. So WTM did a survey in 2021 of about 700 global respondents within the travel industry. 26% of them were hoping that travel volumes would be up to 2019 levels in 2022. So before COVID, what those travel volumes were, how many people were traveling, that they were hoping by the end of 2022 we would see the same level. And that has not happened. 14% expected volumes to exceed because of pent-up travel, pre-COVID levels. And 42%, I'm afraid to say, are the ones that were right when we look at where we are right now, in that they were not confident that travel volumes will reach 2019 levels anytime soon. And that's pretty much where we're at. I would estimate we're probably about 45, maybe 55% of travel pre-COVID levels, maybe even slightly less than that. We're hoping by the end of next year that we will see travel returning to the same amount and the same volumes as what they were in 2019 before the world went a little bit crazy. So what I wanted to chat to you guys about today, which I thought would be most useful, was within the corporate travel space. Obviously, there are a lot of people traveling. We have got massive global industries that spend millions and billions of dollars every year just sending their staff around the world for business trips. It can be sales related. It can be new deals that they're striking up. It can be training related. And I don't believe that enough of corporate travel managers or travel agents, we call them TMCs in the corporate travel space, travel management companies, I don't believe that they know enough about the protocol industry. But I thought to myself, I could be wrong, so let me actually send out a survey to our membership database. I sent out a quick survey. I got just under 40 respondents. And that sounds like a little, but if you think about it, we're talking about travel managers for big global corporations that are sending their staff around the world. And we're talking about TMCs from some of the biggest companies as well. So some of the buyers we had were, example, Land Bank, which is a big agricultural company. Amway is a multinational healthcare provider. MMV is medicines for malaria venture. Cummins is a global corporation. Vertex Energy is based in Nigeria. They are a oil and gas company. Fresenius Kabi is a German-based global pharmaceutical company. So some really top names here that we spoke to. From the TMC or travel agent perspective, we had Aviator Travel, which is one of the biggest travel agents in Nigeria, Club Travel, Carter, which is the Kenyan Association of Travel Agents. So they're very aware of what's happening within the corporate travel industry in Kenya. Tourbest Travel, which is one of South Africa's largest TMCs and are also globally spread. So what I wanted to do was gain an understanding of their knowledge of the protocol and diplomacy sector in order to be able to feed this information back to you guys. So the first question we asked is, are you familiar with or have you heard of the work that the protocol and diplomacy industry does? So get ready for this, guys. So we had just under 10% saying yes, we do know what the protocol and diplomacy industry does. We had 84% saying either, that sounds vaguely familiar, or no, I have no idea what that industry is and what they do. So the reason I wanted to do this is because if we have a South African businessman or a CEO from Kenya or a sales head from Nigeria visiting China or visiting the Middle East on business trips, to me, protocol is a key thing in those industries as well. It's not just about the big dignitaries and government officials, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it's an important thing that they start understanding more about the protocol industry and the people that can help them with the information they need when they're going on these trips. So then I said, when sending travelers to destinations that might be very culturally different from their home country, how do you prepare them as far as customs, etiquette, etc.? We had 6% saying they don't travel to these kinds of countries. We had just under 20% saying our travelers educate themselves. So they will go online, they will Google, when I go to China, what should I do, what shouldn't I do, etc. We had just under 50% saying the company prepares the traveler based on what they have learned or sourced. We had only 9% saying they use a specialized company to prepare them on these kinds of things. We had some saying we don't prepare them at all and we hope for the best. And the others didn't know or kind of had a combination of them preparing themselves. So I think this is key as well, because as much as we might be able to Google information and try and find out best practices and, you know, do you shake with your left hand or your right hand? How long do we speak about someone's family, et cetera, et cetera? This is something that can be a very fine nuance. And you guys know this, you know, it's not always something we can just find online. So then we asked, where have your travelers most experienced difficulties when traveling to countries with a vastly different culture? And I thought this was quite interesting as well. So the biggest one there was language barriers. Then our second biggest one was logistical issues, so around connectivity, ATMs, etc. Basic etiquette and greetings also got a high rate, though. That's almost a quarter that was saying that is something that they struggle with. Legal challenges around purchasing alcohol and all of those kinds of things. And then obviously also we often have in a lot of the emerging markets problems around payments of bribes or other facilitation type challenges. So quite a spread across the board there. But from a protocol perspective, definitely a few things that you guys are experts in that our members can certainly get information from and get assistance from your side. Here's some really great news. So I asked, if you had access to a company or an association that could better help prepare your travelers for these kinds of trips, would you be interested in finding out how they can help you? We had a few saying we don't travel to unusual countries. We had 85% either saying yes or maybe. this is something we'd be really interested in knowing more about, with only sort of 5% saying, no, this isn't something that we're interested in. So I found that really, really interesting as well. Some other things that they said on the survey, so these were actual responses that they typed out. One person said, I'd just like to know more about the protocol and diplomacy industry. Another said, my clients often complain about how they have to bribe themselves into certain countries. If there could be a company, it would be greatly appreciated, or a service that offers meet and greet at the airport, chauffeur services, etc. Now, I know that's more kind of in the DMC field, as meet and greets and so on, but I still think there's quite a bit of an overlap as to company cultures and how people can deal with these different things. Then the company could be better advantaged if they could include services like arrival of guests at the airport, to include settling in and advice on what to do in case of emergencies. A little bit more of a possibly a safety thing there. This one was from one of my members from Amway, who says this would potentially be of great help to us as we have various Southern African countries within our territory, and she mentioned some countries. Therefore, having a company to assist in this regard would be a great help, and there would be a saving of time in obtaining information related to each country from which they are traveling to the international country concerned. One of the delegates said that they think most large corporates have specific risk management divisions that deal with this kind of thing. But for smaller companies, a company who specializes in or advises them how they can provide specific knowledge would be very beneficial in his opinion. One said our travelers travel mostly to African countries, and there's many different challenges. And then the last one, a point of contact or resource to address this often overlooked information for travelers, be it corporate or leisure, would be helpful. So a definite need for what it is you guys do, the knowledge that you've gained over many, many years, and just the nuances and the various different tips and tools and information is massively needed within the corporate travel space. So in closing, there are many untapped opportunities for the protocol sector within the business travel industry. I think what's important, though, is for the protocol sector to understand the unique challenges that corporates face. Obviously, there's a lot of overlaps, and culture is culture, and whether you're visiting a dignitary or whether you're visiting a CEO of a company, you need to know culturally how to deal with those different people. So I do think that there are a lot of overlaps and challenges, but there's also some unique ones to corporates. And then once you really understand those unique challenges, define a value proposition. If we could help you reach out to our members and say, this is on your next business trip, what the protocol experts can help you with, that is how we would want to sell that information to our members. And then, get access to the sector and deliver your message clearly to them as to what it is that you guys do and how you can help from a business corporate travel perspective. I went through that very quickly, Patricia. I hope I saved you a little bit of time, and thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Monique. That was just beautiful what you shared. Really, really. I've always admired the African Business Travel Association. I belong there, so I see all the work they're doing. And I think we've been trying to really introduce the importance of protocol and diplomacy and how we can actually work with that. So Nicolita and others on the panel, it's really an important area for us to think about, because the African Business Travel Association has really called out for that kind of relationship in terms of, corporates, travel, and really giving that kind of balance when they travel to other countries. How do they harness, manage the challenges in those countries, what they should do. So it's like the first kind of welcoming doing businesses in this country. So I think we're open to that. At the center, the International Center for Protocol and Diplomacy, we've been really engaging with a lot of corporates in terms of really creating that kind of platform, and I think it's something we can talk about. Also, these are some of the projections that came under the World Protocol Conference we had last month. It's also an area, so like business protocol is quite really becoming relevant, and I think it's something we can look at. But you've done a brilliant job in terms of delivering a very excellent presentation, which is key, and it just resonates into what Dr. David Lucas said in terms of doing businesses in Africa and how that can actually enhance productivity or enhancing export imports and that kind of thing. So it's so important. Nikki, you might just have one or two words, and I just think what I was saying, I don't know whether you have some comments, but this is really important. I think we can look at that space and the opportunity.
I just think that this presentation was very important to highlight and underline the importance and the significance of protocol industry, and not only in the state and government level, but also at the corporate level, when making or doing business on an international level, and when people are traveling, are they well prepared? Do they know how to behave, what to wear, how to act, how to communicate? And it was really nice to see that this is something that we've been saying for decades, that this is not just the privilege of diplomats and state leaders, but also for everyone who actually deals with different nationalities and wants to engage on an international level, no matter what they do, what sort of business they pursue. This is an important aspect of all international relations, and it was lovely to see the numbers that it's backed up and supported by numbers and figures as well, that people are in the travel industry do believe and do think the same way, that protocol is an important knowledge and the tool that we all need to be able to own and possess in order to be successful.
Okay, so thank you, Monique. That's really good.